malfunction ruptured case.
Today we're looking at a Raven Arms. This is a model P25. These are sometimes referred to as the MP25. This is a 25 auto pocket pistol. These are pretty much known for being the Saturday night special. The story goes, the guy that produced these had a friend who had a pawn shop, and in 1968 they banned the importation of cheap pistols from overseas. Most of your RGs and really the real inexpensive pistols. And he'd been selling these in his pawn shop, and talked this guy George Jennings, who he knew, who had a machine shop, into manufacturing pistols for him. And these are pretty much the cheapest pistol you could get for a while. These are made out of a material called Z-Mac, which is pretty much injection molded zinc. I've never seen the blued version. I've only ever seen chrome ones, but there was a blued version. And these were made from 1970 up to 1991 when the factory burned to the ground. These are pretty simple. There's no hold open, no slide lock on an empty magazine. They're striker fired. They have a hill release for the magazine. The magazine's aluminum with the zinc base, it looks like. They're 6-round magazines. To disassemble the gun, there's a piece here, and I think that hole is supposed to be a cocking indicator. I don't know if you can see, if I can get it where you can see it. When I dry fire it, you can almost just barely see that part of the firing pin disappear, but it doesn't actually protrude from that. But to disassemble it, you press that in after dry firing it, make sure it's empty, and simply pull the slide off. You have your main recoil spring here. Then on the slide, you have your catch, your hammer spring, or striker spring I should say, and your striker, which mounts on that way. This is your firing pin, and if this was maybe a 16th or an 1/8 of an inch longer, it would be a cocking indicator. At least I would assume so. I'm not sure if they did that intentionally or not. The top slide is pretty much a Z-Mac, and then you have your extractor mounted on the top, which appears to be really cheaply chromed steel. Your frame, you have a pin down here. That's where this piece actually connects into, that holds it all together. Your barrel is inside the Z-Mac. I'm guessing they had it inside the mold when they injection molded the Z-Mac into it around the barrel. You have a safety lever, or not lever, safety bar, which forward is fire, back is safe. And what it does is, on the sear here, in the fire position, it allows it to drop, and it's safe. Well, if I can get it to, there we go. And the safe, it blocks that sear from dropping right where my finger is. Now this is with the grips removed. See, when it goes back, there's a little spot here that's raised that blocks to keep it from over traveling. The grip body has these squarish cutouts, and the grips have a similar spot, which that's supposed to keep them from sliding off or loose. They're a little bit loose. Now the trigger mechanism is pretty simple. This piece hides behind the grip to keep it in alignment. When it is in alignment, it hits this part of the sear here. You can get it to work. And that drops the sear. And then you have this little piece here right above my index finger, right here. And once you've fired, the slide will hit that piece and drop that down just a hair, and that will allow the sear to come back up. I'll put the grip back on and show you. See there, everything's in alignment. It's held in alignment by the grip, and then the slide will come back and bump that and allow it to pop back up. That's pretty much it on how it operates. Like I said, it's a pretty simple design. It's designed to be cheap. This particular one was pretty much brand new when I got it. It hadn't been shot very much, and it would jam about 2 to 3 times every magazine. So out of 6 rounds, 2 to 3 of them would jam. I've got video of shooting it with some of the malfunctions. I had one case rupture, which I don't blame on the gun. I sort of blame that on the case. It was a Winchester case, believe it or not. Since none of the other ammunition I shot had the similar failures, I believe it was just a bad case. It happens. These are pretty much the cheapest gun you could get. Another thing, if you have it in safe, it won't cock. If you put it in fire, then the striker, that block keeps the striker from going down, so it can't actually pull it all the way. I'm sure if you tried hard enough, you could and probably break part of it. These are pretty much the cheapest pistol you could get. I can't bet my life on it or anything. Like I said, I've had it jammed several times, and it's pretty much brand new. They're pretty notorious for jamming and being cheap pistols. That's pretty much it for the Raven Arms MP25 or P25. These are pretty much the Saturday Night Special, so anytime you hear that word, this is what they're referring to.